Let's go. I love it. We are back in 2025, and we are going to lay some scorched earth to the VCA. That's probably not going to go over well with a lot of people, but it's what it is. My name is Michael Hoskinson. I am with Canine Control, and you are watching my ever so entertaining and educational podcast, Canine Convos. Our whole goal here at Canine Convos, we want to give you some information about the real world and how the dog training works in the real world. I want you not to believe everything that you read. I want you to use common sense, and I want you to think this through so that you can make a rational decision about how you are going to go about training your dog. Everything we see today is going to push us in a direction. The first thing everybody says, every home I've been in, guess what they have done with dog training? They've Googled it or they've YouTubed it. And every Google search and like almost every YouTube you come to, it's 98% are all going to be your FF and your R plus trainers, your force free, your positive only. That's fine and dandy. I believe in as little physical with my dog as humanly possible also, and I believe in doing that through proper canine communication. Understanding the why we have a problem or issue or why we have a behavior. And understanding the why allows me to actually fix the problem, not put a Band-Aid over it. So what interested me the most last year when I started this is just how preposterous some of this stuff was and how much of an idiot I found out I was by all the FFers out there that I had no idea what I was doing, even though on the civilian side, for the last 20 years, I've had a hyper amount of dogs that I have trained. It has been an exorbitant amount of dogs for one individual. And my training is different because I only go into homes. I don't do anything online. I do very little board and train. My board and train is followed with in-home lessons. It is very one-on-one in the dog surroundings. So I deal with each and every one of these dogs. So I actually live out the science experiment each and every day live with a dog inside of its pack, its home, and its family. So it's allowed me a completely different perspective. So I want you guys to understand that they're pulling the wool over your eyes. All this is pulling the wool over your eyes. So we started and we've been talking about aggression. I wanted reactivity, but for some reason the VCA didn't have any of that up. So what we're going over and looking at is dog aggression with an unknown dog. And so that's as close as reactive as I can get. And honestly, most of the stuff they talk about is reactivity over aggression anyway. So in the last episode, what we talked about is the VCA, Ellen, Deborah, and Gary brought us some useful information. They said that there were, this is quote, many factors could contribute to a dog's aggressive response. Throughout that entire hour, we came to the conclusion that there were only two because that's all they gave us. They bestowed upon us a total of 2 factors total. Yep, that's right, 2 of many. So my brain goes in a different direction. They must be very primary reasons why. If there's many and you're only giving me 2, these must be big. So what are these factors? Because they're important, because out of the many, we get 2. So they got to be 1 and 2 in reason for or why dogs have aggressive behavior. So the number one factor that they gave us is pain. Now, the only way you can help a dog with pain is to what? Take the dog to the vet. There's your money pool. It's all about the money, people. It's all about the grab. It's all about this consortium of science and academia working together because together they can make it look bigger and badder, and you can't handle it. You need us. The second one, the reason for the aggression, is the 2 dogs have a different, this is a quote, different communication cycle, unquote. And the second part of that was, quote, all breeds do not speak the same language, end quote. So, a Chihuahua from Mexico cannot speak to a German Shepherd from Germany because they speak a different language. Have you ever heard of anything so preposterous in your life? But that's what our people have told us. That's where we're at. So we're going to run with their reasoning, their understanding, and the information they're giving you. And let's continue to look at stuff. So we're going to move on with why dogs act aggressively. Why dogs act aggressively. We're going to go to picture 1. And here we go. why would my dog behave aggressively towards unfamiliar dogs? This is all about the why. And that's what I want you to understand. We're still on the why. We haven't got to the treatment yet, which makes sense, right? You can't set a treatment for something if you don't understand what is causing it or why the dog is acting that way. So this is our people. Why would my dog behave aggressively? This is our very, very intelligent 3 people with all their letters. They know far more than the average person, right? So we're going to get into the next series. So what are some common types of interdog aggression? So first off, we have fear-based. So let's look at it. Initially, dogs show signs of fear. Though these signs may disappear over time, signs of fear can include avoiding, looking away, or barking and backing away. Okay. Where have I heard this before? Where have I heard that before? There is somewhere I have seen this before. Let me see, pick 3. Oh, sometimes socializing dogs not go as planned, and a puppy is unexpectedly frightened by another dog. A long-lasting fear of the other dog can result, and this fear can trigger an aggressive response. Oh, that was last week, but we just circled back around to it and said it again. Okay. Well, we do talk about this last time, circular reasoning that they use. So that's strange, right? So it's the actual type of aggression, and it's also why the aggression. No, that's not making sense, because the why is the pain and the inability to talk to each other. I don't know. It was circular. Let's go back to pick 2. Let me see pick 2 again. Let's just go to frustration-based, right? Dogs bark and lunge towards other dogs when they cannot assess the dog or access the dog. Often dogs with frustration-based aggression are friendly with dogs they meet without a barrier. Some people refer to this barrier or this behavior as leash aggression or even reactivity, though those terms do not specifically or specify the underlying motivation. Oh, they're going to get deep with this, like underlying motivation? I doubt it. A friendly response is not guaranteed and is risky, obviously, right? Okay, so frustration, again, is why the dog is doing it, but I thought why we established the why factors were pain and inability to communicate. So now it's down here under type. So we're at the type, but what did they say before? Let's go to pick 2 again. What? The aggression that develops in this situation is rooted in frustration. Is it me or are we repeating ourselves? I'm getting confused because we're about right back to where we started. We're like 3 pages up again. All of a sudden, we're right back where we started. I thought we were moving on and getting more information. I don't know. Let's go back to pick 2 and let's see what else we got, because I'm sure they're going to give us some great stuff. Territorial. Dogs bark and or lunge at dogs that approach their home property or vehicle. Home property, vehicle, barriers. Did we see that before too? We saw that somewhere else, didn't we? What is pick 5? And can include components of both territorial behavior. Oh my gosh. So we're right back to where we started again. Well, no duh. I mean, this is getting crazy, right? So what's funny is they added a term on us here. So this is good. Territorial behavior. So now is the aggression just a behavior? Or is it the why the dog is doing it is territorial? Or is the territorial it's so confusing. But they're going to keep throwing different words in there and trying to confuse you. And that's what I want you to understand. Territorial is why they're doing it. No, it's not. It's actually the type. No, it's not really a type, but it is the trigger for what it's doing. And now we're learning that territorial aggression can be a behavior. Keep twisting it, keep moving the goalposts, keep shifting things around. That's all they're going to do to you. They're just circling back and regurgitating to you stuff over and over and over. So now back on pick 2, let's go to our next one. Reinforcement related or learned. Dogs experience an innate reward for barking and lunging, especially if they are fearful or territorial. Behaviors that are rewarded will continue and often strengthen over time. What is the reward? The reward for barking. What is the reward for the behavior the dog is doing at the moment? Let's see this is where your FFers have problems because they're going to throw the food. And they're going to throw the food. And they're going to throw the food. Now, and the problem is with that is as they throw the food, we're not getting anywhere. I see it all day, every day. Every client I've ever trained has started with treats of some sort. YouTube and Google. And the problem is they are not doing it properly according to the FFers. I have asked so many FFers, I was like, well, how come I'm the third and fourth trainer? They've tried all these FFR plus trainers and it's not working. And their literal response to me, they didn't have a good force-free trainer. But wait a second. You also, FFers, tell me that you've been around for 20, 30 years doing this. Are you telling me that people don't have access to this information? You don't have schools and training and all that out there for these FFers to get out there and be good? So in the last 20 to 30 years, with a more technical advanced society that we've ever lived in, the ability to share information from one corner of the earth to the other, and we still don't have good FF trainers. They are very hard to find. Well, how would you expect then for an average civilian to pull this off? If you inside of your own sect of training can't get it right, how are you going to expect someone that is not a dog trainer or doesn't want to be a dog trainer to get it right? It doesn't work. I see it all day, every day. I see people throwing food and throwing food and throwing food. It's always making the situation worse because you're rewarding the dog for the behavior. The dog is getting the food. But again, this is going to go, this circles back again because watch, let's go back to pick 6. Components of both territorial behavior and reinforcement related learning behavior. This is interesting to me. These are types, and they broke these types down, and we have all these different types, right? But in this one paragraph, frustration, territorial, and reinforcement or learned behavior is all in there. It's all in one paragraph up above. So when we first started learning about this is all together. There are other risks such as repeatedly encountering dogs from behind a barrier. Talk about the barrier again. The barrier could be a fence. It could be the leash reaction. After all, your dog is probably not permitted to meet encounter while on the walk, blah, blah, blah. The aggression that develops in the situation is rooted. Does that mean that's the cause? Is that the why? It's rooted in frustration. It's rooted in territorialism. It's rooted in reinforcement related or learned behavior. See, rooted in. Well, is that the why? It would seem to me the word rooted. It's rooted in this. This would be the cause or why it has grown into this is because of frustration, territorialism, or learned behavior. But I thought the why was pain and they can't talk to each other. Do you see how if I throw enough shit at the wall, something will stick. And I just keep throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing. Something's going to stick. And that's what they're doing with you right now. It's just repetitive stuff. It's circular reasoning. Nothing is getting where we want it to go. So, I mean, just looking at this so far, I am not feeling good about anything. To me, they are not imparting any real knowledge that's going to help you be successful with what you need to do with your dog. All they've done is say the same thing twice. How is that helpful to you? It gives you zero to go on. I mean, are we really, honestly, are we any closer now to understanding why dogs are aggressive to other dogs? Have we got anywhere with that? Now they might have given me some when dogs are aggressive, but they haven't given me the pain, and they don't talk to each other. That's what we got so far. Well, let's put their theory to the test, okay? Because I mean, if you've got to test something, you got to pressure test it. If you don't pressure test anything, you're not going to know if it's actually effective. So let's just do this on the top. It's just on the very, very surface of everything. Let's do a little pressure test. Knowing why allows you to fix a problem. We've established that their why, off their own words, their two factors, remember? Pain, inability to communicate. So let's take their very first one. Let's take fear-based. Fear-based aggression, is it caused by pain and or no understanding of communication of the other dog? What do you think the answer is? Is fear-based aggression rooted in, caused by the why, pain, or the inability to communicate with the other dog? Nope. I'll give you one guess what fear-based aggression, what the why is. This is gonna freak you guys out. Ready? I'm gonna impart some knowledge on you. Get ready for it. Might want to take notes. The dog acts aggressive because it's fucking scared. That's why it's called fear-based aggression. Hello? Now, we can go down the road of what is it fearful of. That's a totally different story. And you will find that fear is a very big component to most or all aggressive behavior. Fear is getting closer to the why than you understand. But I guarantee you, more than likely, 99% of the time, fear, aggression is not caused by pain, and it is not caused because the dog can't comprende what the other dog says. Let's look at the next one. Let's test it. Frustration-based aggression is caused by pain. Nope. Frustration-based aggression is caused by an inability to communicate with the other dog. Nope. Guess what frustration-based aggression is caused by? Yep, you guessed it, the dog being fucking frustrated. And when is that frustration? On the leash, pulling. Oh my gosh, no kidding. I'll bring this up time and time again. And it's funny that they actually call it frustration-based. Do you remember the story about the working dogs and the puppies on the tie-out? And they got that rag toy just outside their reach, and the dog is, it's pouncing, and it's jumping, and it's lunging, it's trying to get that toy. And what they are doing is they are literally, ask any of them, they are building frustration in the dog through restraint. Not pain, restraint. And what that does is then when they put that rag or that toy inside the boundary where that dog can get it, they pounce harder and more aggressively. They bite better. They bite deeper. They bite with a lasting grip. All of that is designed to enhance the dog's ability to do that one thing. Frustration. If only, I would just love to sit down and have a talk with any of these guys about frustration in a dog. Because the sad thing is, I mean, think about it. Every dog you see going down the street's pulling on the leash. So every fucking dog's probably frustrated. Moving on. Let's keep pressure testing their theory on what's going on. The why. Territorial aggression is caused by pain. Well, that's absurd. Territorial aggression is caused by a dog's inability to communicate with another dog. Does that make sense? Are we going somewhere with that? That does that make any sense? You know why? What causes territorial aggression? The dog thinks that another dog is going to steal its territory, so it fights it for it. Oh my gosh, it's territorial, fighting for its territory. That's funny though, huh? Territorial aggression. I thought we didn't have packs anymore, so how can we have a territory? Because a pack of dogs wouldn't have they're not a pack, so they can't have a territory, but yet we still have territorial aggression? Wait a second, Doc. Ellen, Deborah, Gary. You can't have territorial aggression if you don't have a pack of dogs, because only a pack of dogs has a territory. Remember, we have social animals now, social hierarchies. We don't have territory, right? Well, let's keep going. Reinforcement or learned aggression is caused by pain. No. Reinforcement or learned aggression is caused by an inability to effectively communicate with another dog. Nope. Let's break it down, right? Reinforcement aggression or learned aggression is caused by you allowing the dog to do it over and over and over and over again until it becomes a learned behavior. That's all it is. Pain has nothing to do with it. Inability to communicate is the furthest thing from the truth that has anything to do with it. I will tell you this. I'm not going to discount pain. Okay, guys? So get that out of your heads. Come on, let's be just fucking real about it. Does pain play a factor in it sometimes? Yes, absolutely. Is it the driving, overwhelming factor? Absolutely, positively not in 99.9% of the cases. Most dogs are young you don't go train 9, 10, 11-year-old dogs. That's just usually not the case, right? So the dogs we're dealing with, and I'm talking about specifically, are younger dogs in good health. Does health play a factor? Yes, obviously, of course, and I'm not ever going to discount that. But it is definitely not my go-to. That's their number one thing. Pain. That's the first thing they want, pain. All right, now in their talks and in their writing in this publication, they have a few more types of aggression. So what I want to do is, I'm not really going to go over these, but I just want to test them for time's sake against what they say is the why or the factors of aggression. So we're just going to do the same thing. So what we've got is gender-related aggression, okay? So that would be dog on dog, same sex, okay? How many genders are there? Nope, never mind. Not going to go there. Two. We're going to go male and female and just call it a day. Gender-related aggression is caused by pain. No, it just said the cause is gender-related. Gender-related aggression is caused by the inability to communicate with another dog. Nope. It's caused by the gender of the other dog. So what we're talking about, generally speaking, is going to be two female dogs. Two female dogs within 2 to 3 years of each other are always my sibling rivalry cases. They get into more fights than males do, unequivocally, without a doubt. Promise you, 100% of the time. They're fighting over who's going to be in charge, because that's what females do. They run packs, not males. Unneutered males tend to be the two that get into fights. That should be common knowledge. That should not be hard to prove or follow or Google, okay? But gender-related aggression is not caused by pain, or the underlying factor is not because the two dogs can't talk to each other. Possessive or resource-guarding aggression is caused by pain. No. Possessive or resource-guarding aggression is caused by an inability to communicate with another dog. No. It's caused because they're trying to keep the resources to themselves. That's why it's called resource aggression, resource reactive. Their whys aren't even making sense. How can they come to us and give us this information when it has absolutely zero to do with anything they're talking about? I mean, they are giving you every set of aggression. Let's just get away from the why, because this is double talk. They added gender-related, possessive or resource guarding, and predatory aggression. They added those, but they still have to bounce back and work off of their why are they aggressive, because that's the whole thing that they said. This is why. Pain, inability to communicate. It has nothing to do with anything. They are completely losing their minds. I can't wait till we get to talk about the treatment. This should be fascinating, because I haven't even looked at it yet, and it's going to be amazing. I can already tell. Let's roll to pick 7, please, sir. All right, so here we go. Are there any specific details that can help with assessment? Well, let's see what we got. To evaluate your dog's motivation, it is helpful if you can identify some details about the behavior. Consider, for example, whether your dog gets along with most dogs, which reflects solid social skills. If that is the case, what type of dogs trigger, remember the word trigger, her aggressive response? Do you notice The recipient dog is always a certain size, color, or gender. Maybe the other dog shows a particular behavior, high energy, loud, or meek. These factors provide an underlying the reason for the aggression behavior and help the behavioralist diagnose and design a more effective treatment strategy. This has a lot of good information in it, actually. All of those triggers, okay? The behavior of the dog, energy of dog is barking, the dog is whining, the dog is hyperspastic, size of dog. I don't get color of dog very often, but okay. But there is some good information in there, okay? I can go with that. Now, here's the thing. The factors provide an understanding of the reason. Okay, you see that. Understanding of the reason. Now watch. They call it triggers 3 sentences up. So I'm confused because I'm taking them at their word. Are those things, color of dog, hyper dog, that they mentioned, are those triggers? Or are they the reason? See, the reason is the underlying reason why. Trigger is what causes the underlying thing to come out. They can't be the same. A trigger is not the same as the why. The trigger is what causes that triggers the aggressive response. You following? A trigger has the aggressive response as the action back. So they can't be the same. What was the reason for the dog's aggressive behavior? Well, in their words, it's pain or inability to communicate. Look at the wording. This is huge. Because here's where we go back and we start playing on those emotions. We start tugging at those heartstrings. Okay? And they're going to go back and do this to you time and time again. Now, we're going to describe to the behavioralists these things, right? So the behavioralists can't do it on their own. They need our help. As a lay dog person, as mom and daddy of the dog, you're going to help them, right? Okay, watch. Help the behavioralist, not a dog trainer. I need a behavioralist for this to diagnose and design a more effective treatment strategy. Is Grandpa going in for leukemia treatment, or do I have a dog that's aggressive? See how they're going to make this build into this thing that feels like it has to be done by a specialist. If you go to a doctor or you go to a specialist, like, oh my God, I go to a specialist, that's the big time. That's the same thing they're doing to you here. That specialist, this behavioralist, we're going to design this treatment plan. They are overcomplicating things to the point that they get no results most of the time. And that's exactly what it's over and over. Separation anxiety. Remember separation anxiety? All they did was play and tug on your heartstrings. That's the entire goal of what they're doing. It has to sound complicated. It has to sound sciencey. It has to sound academic-y, or else you're not going to pay the money for it. You're not going to want to go to a guy that trains dogs. You're going to go to the behavioral specialist. No, it's such crap, people. You go to that behavioral specialist, you got to pay the money. But it's just like everything else. It's just like Big Pharma and the doctors. They're in this cahoots together. It's just a big circle of passing the money along. Here, I'll give you X number of, every time you sell my product, you get this $100 kickback. Well, they are incentivized to do it. This is the same thing that goes on in dog training, people. I'm only going to, I cannot get a dog insurance to pay for my training because I'm not certified as an FF trainer. They will only, the ones I've come across, it's only been 2 or 3, but the only thing they will certify is someone who's an FF trainer. So they will pay for the training if I'm an FF trainer. If I'm not an FF trainer, they will not pay for it. The hell's up with that? That eliminates people from getting their dog fixed. And all 3 of the people that I've talked to have not gone with me. They've gone with someone else. And what's funny is one of them has already come back and hired me to do it. They were like, that was the biggest waste of time ever. Mm-hmm. The good thing is, though, I think at some point we're going to have some treatment, and the treatment is going to be fantastic because it's going to give us something. Because the treatment strategy, because they have already laid out for us the two biggest contributing factors, pain. So I guarantee you we're going to drug them. And then we have communication. Dogs can't communicate with each other. Your dog is sped, man. It needs some help. We need to learn talking to the dog 101. And that's what's really crazy about it is the fact that they're going to bring in a human who is so good at talking dog. They talk to other dogs better than a dog talks to a dog. Are you really believing what they're telling you? I, the behavioral specialist, I, the FF trainer, am going to come in and I'm going to look at your dog and I can communicate with it better than it can communicate with another dog. I'm calling bullshit. Lots and lots of bullshit. I am very good at reading dogs. Every dog I train, I'm in the house with. Every dog I train with, I'm on a walk with. Every dog I train, I'm at group class with. Every dog I train, I'm at the park. I am with the dogs all day, every day. And I read dogs really freaking good. And you expect me to believe that I can read a dog and talk better dog than a dog to dog can? Come on, guys. Use your heads. You got to use your heads. So here we go. Pick 8. Also, pay attention to how quickly your dog recovers after an event. A longer recovery suggests a higher level of emotional arousal. Here's a new word they're going to throw at us. Arousal. When did that come into it? Oh, my dog's aroused by your dog. Great. Ellen, you're the only new one here. Did you bring arousal into this? Your dog's treatment plan will include steps to reduce this arousal. Try to notice the point at which your dog becomes alert. Freezing and staring are subtle communications that often precede barking and lunging. If your dog reacts to dogs even when they are far away, he may be experiencing anxiety about the potential interaction. Anxiety must be treated so your dog can become less vigilant and learn better. Okay, it is essential to remain objective and avoid a misdiagnosis. A behavioral specialist may ask about your observations. Well, what do you hire them for? Your observations to determine the cause of the behavior. Now it's your job to tell the behavioralist, this is why you need a fucking behavioralist, so you can tell them your observations so that you can do their job for them. Well, man, if someone would call me, tell me everything that's going on, and then I just tell them what to do over the phone, still get paid for it, that would make me very aroused. That would be good money for me. Essential to remain objective to avoid a misdiagnosis. See, scare tactics. Oh, it's complicated. You don't want to do this wrong. Oh, it's hard. You need a specialist. You couldn't trust a dog trainer for this. They don't have the skill nor the knowledge that we do to handle this. Now, you want to know what dog trainers do? We get in there and fix the problem. That's all. I don't overcomplicate it. I don't feed you a line of bullshit. I don't talk emotions. I tell you why your dog is doing it, so you have an understanding of that, and then I fix the why, and then I fix the problem. It's super simple. But oh, no. Let's always overcomplicate this to the point that it makes it too difficult for anybody but a specialist, a behavioralist, to fix it. It's all the money grab, people, I am telling you. We're going to go to pick 9, and we're going to depart some more great information on. All right, so here we are, pick 9. This is moving right along with their informational correspondence they're giving us. Why does my dog lunge at me when another dog is in view? When dogs are oh, God, here we go. God, I got another aroused dog. It's aroused and frustrated. Holy shit, what are all the emotions they're putting on these dogs? So they are both aroused and frustrated. They can lose sight of the focus of their aggression and redirect towards a nearby person or even a companion dog. To avoid injury, minimizing exposure to other dogs is important until treatment is well underway. If you cannot avoid encountering other dogs, consider using a basket muzzle on walks where you might encounter other dogs. Oh, see their pamphlet for some more great information, I'm sure. Since your dog will be vulnerable while muzzled and could be injured should another dog attack, it is important to walk only in the areas where other dogs will be leashed and cannot bite your dog. So wonderful stuff, right? Until treatment is well underway. How long is that? Reactive/aggressive dogs, you will see a difference with me in the first 2 hours. By the end of 2 hours, you'll see a difference. But when they say it's well underway, can you think they can give me like a roundabout? We talking 2 days? We talking 2 weeks? What are we talking? I can go from, in most cases, 95% plus. I can go from reactive to non-reactive in 8 weeks. I can give you numbers because you know why? I do it every day. But it's well underway. Just very, very obscure in how they're putting this, right? The problem, see, and think about this. The reason they have to put some of this stuff in here, like don't go to places where other dogs are running around off leash, is because the human is screwing stuff up and taking and putting their dogs repeatedly in the same positions. Again, the human's failing the dog. It's not. This has little to do with the dog, and it has a lot to do with the human and the human not being able to put the dog in the best position, behavior, or place. It's going to always fall squarely on the human. Do not try to train your dog by giving him commands. This is even on my list to talk about. Do not try to train your dog. Why the fuck would you try to train your dog while it's flipping out, it's roused and frustrated? Do not try to train your dog by giving him commands or corrections while he is lunging at you. Try to stay calm and quiet. Hold the leash steady with just enough tension to keep your dog from physically connecting with your body. It often helps to stand still rather than try to continue moving forward, as pulling on the leash can cause additional frustration and arousal and increase the intensity of the aggressive response. Holy crap, people. So do nothing. Just freaking stand there. A little tension not too much tension, not overly tight, and do nothing. Do you think it's going to just magically fucking fix itself? No correction. Don't give the dog a command. Don't train. What? Makes no sense. Dogs don't get trained in a high stimulus situation. They get trained in an unstimulated situation, and then I pressure test it with stimulation. Freaking idiots. Why would the dog change its behavior if all you're going to do is stand there and do nothing? What motivates a behavioral change then? Legit, they didn't even say throw food at it. They didn't say do anything. Just stand there and do fucking nothing. Why would the dog change? Do you think would that not be a learned behavior? Didn't we just talk about that? That becomes a learned behavior because it does it every time, and you're not doing anything to change it. Gary, do you think dogs are stupid? Because if you just tell the dog not to do something, is it too stupid to go, oh, I'm sorry, did I do something wrong? I'll stop doing that if you don't want me to do it. It's impossible for the dog to make a better choice and change its behavior if it's never told what it's doing is wrong. What is so basically incomprehensible about that statement? Let's go to pick 10 and see if we have some more great information to bestow upon us at this point. Oh God, we're going to get right into it now, the thick of it. Should I correct my dog when he is behaving aggressively towards another dog? Punishment-based strategies can contribute to an increased intensity of aggression and should be avoided. Whether your dog is exhibiting redirected aggression, which is what we just talked about, biting you, don't do a fucking thing, let him do it. and is lunging towards you, see the previous paragraph, that was a bowl of cherries for us, man. Pick out the nuggets there and let's go. Great help, paragraph above. Or is lunging towards another dog, a correction is likely to increase his, we're back to the arousal and frustration. What's your dog all of a sudden an S&M? Woo! Give me some more correction. I like it. Good Lord. When you correct your dog, you are engaging in confrontation. Now your dog is fighting two fights, and it will be even more challenging for him to relax and recover from the encounter. Wow. Here's the deal. You let the dog get out of control, and now it's almost impossible to gain that control back. That's why the human has to be so proactive in this and shut this down before it gets there. Increased intensity of aggression and should be avoided. If you correct before it gets there, there is no actual aggressive behavior because you headed it off. That's how that works. Proactive correction, not reactive correction. That's where people screw it up. And if the dog gets in that big of a state, there is no helping it. You have to turn around and leave because the dog has lost his mind. He's out. He's overstimulated. He's over-adrenalized. There is no education at that point. You have lost. The human cannot be reactive. It has to be proactive. The correction at that point would be aggravating to a dog because you already screwed up. He's already in a tizzy, and now you are making it worse. The problem, you want to know the real problem? Because the dog is probably pulling on the leash at this point. Oh, shit, what does that cause? Uh-oh. A correction is likely to increase his arousal and frustration. No, it doesn't. A proper correction will not ever do that. It never, ever will. That's such bullshit. Never in my life have I made a dog more aggravated by correcting it. That's simply not true. And I will correct all aggressive behaviors. Absolutely 100%. The increased arousal is because you let the dog focus on the other dog too long. You were reactive, not proactive. Pulling on the leash. Because just think about the scenario. The dog looks, and then it goes. And then the longer you let it go, the more it gets there. Now it's pulling on the leash, and you're building the frustration. So think about this. The dog is focused on the other dog. Who is it not focused on? Oh, shit, the handler. It's not focused on you. The other dog is more important than you. That's a problem. The other thing is it's pulling on the leash because you didn't teach your dog how to damn heel, because sniff walks are more important for my dog than to teach him how to heel and focus on you. So now we have frustration because he's pulling on the leash. And we just talked about that. What does that do? That's the exact same way a working dog, they hold him back and hold. Even when a full-blown adult dog knows how the attack work, they hold him and hold him and hold him and hold him and then release him. And by the time they release him, that dog is so ready to go. It's just he hits, he runs faster, he hits harder, he bites harder. It's from the frustration. But what? Oh, let's not fix that walk. Let's not fix the focus on the human. Let's say sniff walks are good, let a dog be a dog, and let's let it look at and do whatever the hell it wants. And then when we get in this situation, now what? Well, we probably need a specialist to come in and tell you what happened there, Michael. Lord. Engaging in confrontation. Well, no shit, people. Really? Really? You are engaging in a confrontation. Let me ask you this. When someone is doing something wrong, don't they need to be confronted? If your kid's doing something wrong, do you not confront them about it? If someone's driving too fast through your neighborhood where your kids play, do you not confront them about it? Is your dog acting like an ass trying to kill another dog? Should you not confront that situation? Oh, no, not at all. Let's not do that. Let's throw him some chicken. Someone has got to confront him and let the dog know what it's doing is wrong. Otherwise, it happens over and over and over, and it's a learned behavior. They just told you that was going to happen. Here's the deal. If your dog feels like it's fighting you, it's in two fights, just because you told your dog no, your relationship with your dog, I'm telling you right now, is absolute shit. Your dog doesn't trust you for nothing. And that's a sad, sad, sad day. That's all that means is you have a terrible relationship with your dog. Because what you have done is said, I will put my dog's emotional feelings above his acting right in public. It's pathetic, people. Whew, boy, I'm loving it. Let's go to pick 11. Let's see what we got. Another concern with punishment is that when you correct your dog for exhibiting a lower level signal, such as growling, snarling, or snapping, you teach your dog to abandon safe and valuable communicative signals. Your dog will instead use stronger signals, such as lunging and biting. Oh boy, that's a paragraph of complete and utter bullshit if I ever... You're trying to tell me someone with a PhD, a doctoral degree, gave me that information. There's not a word in there that I think that is true. Did you guys love how I go on? I get more fired up. I'm getting into this now. It's the bang all day. Okay, first, if the dog is displaying growling, snarling, snapping, it already doesn't feel safe. Right? So am I making it worse by correcting? Or giving it a punishment? No, it already doesn't feel good. That's why it's doing that. Do you realize in the real world, the growling, the snapping, the lunging will almost always lead to a dog bite? That's how it goes. Do you know how many fights I see because it starts with the growling, it starts a little lunge, and it ends in a bite? It's a simple play out. If I have dogs that bite people, simple play out. The dog growls. People walk in, it doesn't know, growls, kind of sleeks off. And the owner's like, don't worry about it. Fluffy does that all the time. She never bites. Well, Fluffy does that for 3, 6, 9 months, and all of a sudden people are ignoring it altogether. People aren't walking around and giving the dog wide berth. So now they go to the that little growl snap. Well, that backs people up for another 6 months. And then people are like, oh, she's never bit, so don't worry about it. Just walk by her. She's fine. And you're forcing the dog because you're not going to address the behavior. Oh, God forbid we correct that and tell her not to do it. I wouldn't want to suppress a behavior like my dog about to bite someone. Let's just let it have its emotions and get it out. But eventually the dog says, you're not giving me the space. You're not stopping what you're doing anymore. You're continuing forward, human, dog, whatever. I must continue to amp it up. And eventually we end up with a bite. I can always trace it back a minimum of 6 months, always. When a dog bites another dog or a human. So look what happens. When your dog growls, snarls, snaps, it's giving communication to the other dog. What you're doing, though, is it's giving the dog 3 choices. There are 3 very simple choices. There are no other. Number 1, you can submit to the dog that growled and say, okay, fine, I'm sorry, you win, I'm done. Or it can flight, or it can say, fuck you and fight. That's it. Your dog will then use stronger signals, lunging and biting. Oh, that's just the normal progression. That's just the normal, absolute progression. Well, if a dog growls and snarls and snaps, leads to lunging and biting, guess what, people? Shouldn't you probably correct or stop the growling and snarling and snapping? Wouldn't that make absolute perfect sense? You know where it's going to end up. Why don't we stop it early? But oh no, we wouldn't want to stop it early and tell our dog no. What if your growling and your little snarling and snapping aren't accepted well by the other dog? Yeah, guess what? We end up in a big old dog fight. But Michael, it's using communication in a bad way. And what's the human normally do? Standing there and just watching. No, Fluffy, it's okay. We don't growl at other dogs. You're going to be okay. Every single time, I have never seen a dog just run over and bite another dog. It starts with the body language, and then it's the growl, and then it's the snarl, and then it's the snap, and then it's the lunge, and then it's the bite. Every single solitary time. That's the progression that it goes in. You better get ahead of it, be proactive, not reactive. Stop the growling. Look, what do they say? You teach your dog to abandon. Watch this. This is interesting. Safe and valuable communication signals. What are the safe and valuable communication signals? Low-level signals such as growl, snarl, snap. Okay. Growling, snarling, snapping, they just said are valuable communication signals, right? Because they are showing you what is to come next, right? That's why they're valuable, because they are the precursor to what's about to happen. Why would you not stop that and correct that right there? They're valuable, right? Use that value of knowledge that you have now and stop it before your dog bites someone or something. Now watch. Let's take this a bit further. Valuable communication. Growling, snarling, snapping. Why don't we emulate that back to a dog? If that's valuable communication inside this dog's brain, the smart people just told me that. It's not me. It's not me now saying this. These intelligent human beings with 31 letters behind 3 people's names are vastly more academically intelligent than I will ever be. They just told you this is valuable communication. So let me ask you this. Why would you not emulate growling and snapping? Why would you not emulate that back to the dog? It is valuable and safe communication. Valuable and safe. It's 2 things. It's not just one. It's 2 things. Holy shit, guys. Go back and listen to Dog Communication by Michael that I did last year. You know how I communicate with a dog? Body language, growl, snap. Just like a fucking dog. Because you know why? That's what they understand. They understand dog. And they just told me, these smart mofos just told me, it's valuable and safe communication. So I am using valuable and safe communication based on Ellen, based on Deborah, based on Gary just told me so. So listen here, all you FFers. I just got approval from the 3 big wigs of the VCA that what I'm doing is right. I'm using valuable communication. I fix everything. What I always say, nudging, bumping, pushing, pawing, leaning, barking, rushing the front door, set the 10-foot boundary, off the couch, no counter surfing, no scratching on doors, no hyperactivity. I do it all in less than 2 or 3 minutes, and I never touch a dog. And guess what? I'm just now finding out it's because I use safe and valuable communication. I talk dog to the dog. I try to emulate dog. God, I'm way above my time. I'm better than I thought. Woo! Moving on. Let's go to pick 12 and see what more we have. Your treatment plan will include options for reducing aggression without confrontation. Of course it will. Aggression towards unfamiliar dogs, part 2. Treatment. Woo! Let's go. I am so excited, especially since I just learned safe and valuable communication. I cannot wait. The treatment should also probably offer safe and valuable communication, shouldn't it? So remember that we're at the part 1 is the why. This whole thing that we just got done doing for two episodes now is the why. All right? So now we're going to move on to treat. Let's see what pick 13 is. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to walk away with 2 things. Why would my dog behave aggressively towards unfamiliar? Because of pain And because the other dog doesn't understand what my dog is saying, they don't understand the barks coming out of my mouth. But never fear, we are moving on to part 2, treatment. If you have a treatment plan, Ellen, Deborah, Gary, then that must be because you are saying you know the why. What did you tell me the why was? Pain and 2 dogs not talking the same language. So I'm interested, very interested to see where we go with this. It's going to be fascinating. Will there be a shift? And we'll just break down the types and fix the types? Or we learn how to treat each specific type of aggression individually? Or are we going to lump everything together as just aggression? Why does the dog feel it has to respond with aggression? Understand this. This is the whole, that little sentence. Why does your dog feel it has to respond with aggression? I don't want to know the type of aggression. I don't want to know the trigger of the aggression. That's irrelevant at this point. I want to know why. That's the big one. Why? So I'm hoping that our authors to this are going to give me the why. Well, why? Why does it act with aggression when it's fearful? Why does it respond with aggression when it's frustrated? Why does your dog respond with aggression when it's being territorial? Why does your dog respond with aggression with just specific genders? Why does your dog respond with aggression over resources or people? That's the why, people. We got to, and remember, I'm going to hold them to it. They told me the why. The underlying question and root problem is, why does the dog feel it needs to respond with aggression? That's all this comes. Why does it need to respond with aggression in each of those situations? You fix that, guess what? You fix the problem. Little spoiler alert, guess who knows the answer to that question? This guy right here. I've done 2 of them. This is Wednesday. I'm shooting this on Wednesday. I did a reactive dog, a new client reactive dog on Monday. I did a new client reactive dog on Tuesday. Same results. One was 9 months old. One was 3 years old. Same results. Into the lesson. I'm petting the dog, loving on the dog. Dog is relaxed. It's calm. Both clients are like, oh my gosh, this dog has never been this calm before in its life. Because I fixed the root problem of the reactivity. That's why. And I fixed it inside of 2 hours for the human, not for me, for the clients. Inside of 2 hours. I have already spent 2 hours trying to break down their bullshit just to get an understanding of what I need to do on the lay side if I need to fix my dog of this. If I was at your house, I'd already have it fixed. But again, this is why I do this. I make no money off this. I don't get lessons off this. This is just to put information out for people to actually gain something from it and try to get a better understanding of true dog training versus the bullshit they're throwing at you. So we are going to dive into treatment of aggression. Authored by, you guessed it, Ellen, Deborah, and Gary. We are going to get the answers to treating the why. And the problem is I bet we go completely, this is going to be so fascinating to me. So fascinating to see where they go with this. Because they gave us the why, pain, go see your vet, and the dog doesn't talk to each other. But don't worry, we're going to send a specialist over. They know how to talk dog better than dogs do. They'll figure it out. It's going to be good. So I'm excited to see what they have, and we're going to bring that to you next time on the podcast, and we're going to dive into treatment. I'm also going to have in a client that has been through this from beginning to the end, from the wife telling him, fix the dog or it leaves my house. We haven't had to have the grandkids over. We haven't had Thanksgiving or Christmas at our house in a year or so now. The dog goes or I go. Like he was given an ultimatum, fix it now. That was in April. I have pictures from Thanksgiving. The dog's laying on its back and it's getting belly rubs from grandkids. It would have ate the grandkids before. The dog tried to attack me like 3 times on the first lesson. Perfectly fine. Dog looks me in the face every time I see it. That story's going to be on. I'm going to have another trainer on. We're going to talk about what they think it is and how they deal with it. And then like we did with the separation anxiety, I will break it down for real and I will show you what's going on. We will simplify it. We will give you the reasons, the true reasons why, and then I'm going to show you how to fix it. That being the important thing. So stay tuned. Pay attention. Be ready for the next one because we're going to keep tearing it down. We're bringing scorched earth to the VCA. And we're going to have fun doing it. And again, like I always say, Ellen, Deborah, Gary, you are always invited on. I will fly you out and put you up personally. Everything on me. Don't even worry about it. Just come here and sit down and talk to me for 2 or 3 hours and it'll have a good time. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Like they say, hit the like button, hit the share button, pass it on. Let people know what's going on out there. I hope you appreciate the content, the time and effort I'm putting into this. I hope you actually gain something out of it and are learning something. If not, just learning that, hey, there are other options out there besides throwing treats at my dog all day long. There are other options besides giving my dog a hot dog to do what it needs to do. There are a lot of good trainers out there. And all of those trainers are going to have a book of accomplishments that you can see. Not words. That's not their dog. Look at my dog, how good my dog had terrible separation anxiety, and he's perfectly fine now. Didn't I do good? I'll train yours too. I'm not talking about that. I have gone away. I have it on my Facebook page. I have gone, because my Facebook page has over 1,000 posts on it of different dogs. And the client working the dogs and the success. It's the client doing it. It's not Michael working it. If you pull up a Facebook or a YouTube or whatever, and it's always the trainer doing the dog and not the human, what good does that do you? You need to be able to do that with your dog. I'm a dog trainer. I should be able to do that with any dog, and I can. But my goal is success of client. So all I've had, I think there's like, I don't know, there might be like 15 of them in a row on the Facebook page, Canine Control TX. That is nothing but one lesson. Tell me what you think. Give me 3 minutes of what you think you just went through. I'm going to bring receipts. I'm going to bring receipt after receipt after receipt after receipt after receipt all year long. I'm going to put those up. And I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to keep going. And it's going to be crazy because that is a book of proof that what I do works. And if you can't find a trainer that can supply you with video evidence of what they can do, and a lot of it, not 1 or 2, not the same dog over and over, you need to find another trainer. Because if they can't prove it, I mean, in this day and age, everybody's got a damn cell phone. Look, it's right here. It's right here. I could take a video of me shooting this video. Of course they should have that information. If they don't, they're hiding something because they don't know what they're doing. So stay tuned, have fun, get out there, train your dog, go do some work, have some fun, be structured, be strict, be in control. Guys, my name is Michael Hoskinson. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I am Canine Control. I am the founder, I am the owner, and I am the main trainer. I'm the guy that does it all, and I bring you Canine Convos just for your information and your fun. Keep watching, keep tuning in, and happy training.